Hi guys, Donald Trump wants to deport American citizens. So we've been down this road before, and once again Donald Trump is reinforcing this point. Now he again uses the example of somebody hitting somebody over the head with a baseball bat in the middle of the street, or stabbing somebody in a train station. This is about taking away the rights of American citizens. Not about sending people to jail, but about sending them to another country. It seems he's run out of immigrants to send to places like El Salvador, and now he's moving on to US citizens. Have a listen to this.
I like to say, a little controversial, but I couldn't care less. We have a lot of bad criminals that came into this country, and they came in stupidly. It was an unforced error. It was an incompetent president that allowed it to happen. It was an auto pen maybe that allowed it to happen, and it did happen. But we also have a lot of bad people that have been here for a long time. People that whack people over the head with a baseball bat from behind when they're not looking and kill them. People that knife you when you're walking down the street. They're not new to our country. They're old to our country. Many of them were born in our country. I think we ought to get them the hell out of here too. You want to know the truth. So maybe that'll be the next job that we'll work on together. But I think getting them out, we forget about them. We had some bad accidents in New York, and they're not accidents.
Oh my goodness. He's run out of immigrants, so he has to move on to US citizens. Now, I understand some people are going to say, oh, well, he wouldn't do that. That would be unconstitutional. As if this guy cares about the Constitution. But I have one question for Donald Trump. Would this include convicted felons? People with 34 convictions. Is he going to volunteer to be deported himself? No, it applies to everyone else, not to him, of course. But just think about this for a moment. Donald Trump wants to take US citizens and not send them to jail, not send them to prison, but send them abroad. Send them to El Salvador. Send them to Libya. Just think about that for a moment. Where is the pushback? Where are the Democrats? There are a number of Democrats calling this out, but the party as a whole is completely mute. Where are the political commentators? Where are the people I remember 15 years ago talking about how, well, if Obama becomes president, he's going to take away our rights. The Democrats don't care about the Constitution. Here you have a literal president talking about stripping American citizens of their rights and deporting them. And we're hearing nothing from the so-called patriots, the so-called oath keepers, the so-called constitutionalists. Hearing nothing from them because they support this. When the Democrats are in charge, they're fully on board with the idea of protecting the Constitution. As soon as one of their guys is in charge, the Constitution doesn't mean anything to them. American citizens being deported to places like Libya or El Salvador. When is there going to be any pushback? Because you can't dismiss this as just a brain fart of Donald Trump. He has said this before. He's already deported people without due process. A number of citizens, and in some cases citizens. But he's going to really ramp it up because he needs to have a constant threat. This is how fascists work. They have to have an enemy at every corner, around every corner. There needs to be this constant threat of somebody's going to overthrow the government or undermine the rule of law while they're undermining the rule of law themselves. So this is scary. And unfortunately, we're seeing very little pushback from the Democrats and from the media. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this, and I'll see you in the next video.